Ryan Stock, he's a veteran of 70 mixed martial arts fights, and one of his opponents was a local guy, Mike Richmond.
That's impressive enough, just stepping into the cage against Richmond.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he's actually in line for a title for the bare knuckle boxing, BKFC, actually.
All right, let's see who it does without strikes.
Ryan Stock, yeah, absolutely. Right? Very aggressive takedown by Ryan Stock. You knew he was going to come out aggressive. He wants top pressure, smother, and then cardio.
Seemed very patient on the bottom. That was a big double leg out the gate.
Yeah, well, you kind of had to expect that. You know, with his MMA background, he's got almost 70 fights. You knew he was going to come out aggressive.
It was impressive, but starting to weave underneath already, starting to possibly isolate that leg.
Yeah, well, I think if you're Zekeriah Jones right now, you just got to stay calm. You know, stay calm and collective.
Yeah, just patience. When you have someone who's got that really aggressive top game, all you can really do is just kind of keep your wits about you, start working your game, do your best.
In mixed martial arts, it's kind of like, you know, you can only throw so many fastballs before you get tired. And granted, Ryan's talking about how much cardio he's got. You know, he's testing it by the type of aggression he's displaying.
And cardio is great as long as he doesn't leave himself open, especially with the legs. When you're going against someone who wants to feed for those legs, that aggression can really get you in trouble when you're focusing so much on the pass and not how you're doing it.
Yeah, a little bit of blood on the arm of Zekeriah Jones, too, I might add.
Yeah, he probably caught it on the cage on the way down.
Yeah. Well, no one ever said jiu-jitsu wasn't a contact sport, that's for sure.
I mean, that's what I like to tell my parents.
It's true. It's true.
Well, he does have that leg entanglement. He's getting a sweep off of it. If he can get up and settle, nice.
You're talking about a guy that was talking about top pressure in Ryan Stock, and now he finds himself on bottom. It's exactly the place he did not want to be.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like I had just said. It's you leave your leg out there, and sometimes it's so easy to underestimate how complicated the leg lock game is. And even just when you think you have the attacks locked down, the sweeps happen, and they really throw you off your base. He's feeding for a guillotine actually here, totally possible. He's really got to get that chin exposed, which is possible if you have a strong wrestling background to overestimate exactly where your head position is. Now he's feeding through for a Darce choke, and Stock sees it and steps out.
Well, you know, Ryan Stock said about Zekeriah Jones, I know he's a leg lock specialist. It's the fourth time we met. 2 out of the 3 matches, Zekeriah Jones had won, and in the last match, Ryan pulled off a victory via heel hook. He says both times he lost was against Darce, and he says, these two are going to be constant competitors. And he's like, this is the 4th meeting of something that's probably going to be in the double digits.
More power to him, especially when you have that kind of background. It really makes it interesting. It almost feels more like a role in the gym. You start to see some tricks. You start to figure out what the other person's starting to do, and you really start to see how your game stacks up.
And a bond tends to form too. Let's not forget that.
Sure. Yeah. If you've willfully competed against another guy at least twice, you're okay with that person.
Yeah. No matter what took place, he's a friend. You know, we haven't really spoke, but he's a friend. Absolutely. Exactly. That's the unique thing that jiu-jitsu brings to people.
Looks like Stock's trying to flatten him out, but Zekeriah has that hook in immediately to the heel hook. He's sitting back for the heel hook. If he can extend his body and isolate the hip, Stock's in a lot of trouble.
Stock is about to get finished by a move that he won in the last match with.
Zekeriah feeds that leg across and gets it isolated. Finishes it. Oh, what a beautiful sit-to. Didn't let Stock sit up, swept him out of it.
And he slipped out.
Stock's doing a good job controlling the arm and that far side leg and kind of sitting around. He's going to start sneaking to the back, which feels safe, but you can get fooled in this position too.
Well, they've been back and forth. You just heard a 10-second clacker. In your opinion, I don't think the only points that were scored so far by Ryan Stock.
So Stock got 2 takedowns, and then Zekeriah got 2 points. I think that's cage or mat burn on that bicep. Pretty aggressive too.
Yeah. Wow, that takedown was no joke by Ryan Stock, for sure. The thing that's incredibly surprising to me, I'm 46 years old, is we've got a 31-year-old combatant in Ryan Stock, and he's got 17 years of practicing, jiu-jitsu. Like, that in itself is incredible. You're talking, like, in boxing, they used to call them ring rats. Jiu-jitsu, it's a mat rat. You got somebody that just grew up around the mat.
Yeah, you get the bug and it's in you, and at some point it stops being what you're doing, so it's been just who you are. You can't walk away at a certain point.
No, and once you're kind of dug in with jiu-jitsu, you like to sit here and just kind of tease people. Like, you're supposed to be a lawyer, you're supposed to be a doctor. and you're addicted to jiu-jitsu. Like, well, you know, it's also saved some people's lives too.
Absolutely.
From getting in trouble.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Stock looks breathing a little bit heavy, but I'm still expecting a hard takedown right out the gates.
Oh, for sure.
Let's see if Zekeriah sits down to avoid it.
Well, I think they'd be smart at this point. You know, if you know he's going to come aggressive, you know, might give him a slam.
Especially sit down like in an Ashi position, start working that leg lock like he seems to want to, but he's keeping pressure against the cage.
Well, you know, he's keeping pressure against the cage is because Ryan's catching his breath. I mean, let's call it what that is.
So I'd really like to see Zekeriah take advantage of that. If he sees that window, start to see some sort of nice Russian tie-off. Ryan couldn't quite get the inside leg trip though.
Yeah, Ryan is trying to time a takedown right now. He's getting movement. Like that wasn't even a takedown attempt. That was just to catch his movement, understand his cadence. That's what he's doing. He's timing like you said, an aggressive shot right now, and all that is just setting it up.
There it is.
There it is. Yeah, trying to lull him to sleep and go in for a giant shot.
Yeah, he was kind of going for lazy singles, but I think that was just trying to get Zekeriah to step back. This basic step around pass here.
Don't use the cage.
Yeah, they didn't know in the rules. I mean, you got to remember this is the inaugural event. They did not want to use the cage to an advantage, so they were going to move it to the center. That's not saying that rule wouldn't change in the future, but as of tonight, the rule set is you cannot use the cage to an advantage or trying to get a different position.
Yeah, it's a difficult atmosphere to even practice in. Some gyms have cages, some don't, and it's difficult to just practice jiu-jitsu that way.
Yeah, but it does. I think certain interesting.
Zekeriah trying to go for a Kimura here, step around. Ooh, almost a nice armbar reversal by Stock.
Yeah, Zekeriah was a little slow on the turn right there too. He reacted a little bit slow.
Yeah, that Kimura from half court is really dangerous because it exposes you to step over an armbar.
He's following the fight, Brad. Just bounce off the feet.
You don't try pass.
You can use the cage, but if they hit it, make sure you...
Look at the aggressive position by Zekeriah Jones.
Gets a sweep for Zekeriah.
Absolutely.
Immediately tries to go for the drop knee pass. Got to clear that foot, get all the way to side control. He's going to try and kick that foot through to get his guard pass points. He's got to clear that foot. If he clears that foot, he gets mount and guard pass. Stock's doing a good job keeping his legs active. Oh, but he gives up the pass.
Now he's ready to mount.
Sitting, taking back control, trying to get that seat belt right into a rear naked choke attempt.
I tell you, Ryan Stock is in a world of trouble right now.
Yeah, he's doing a good job controlling that bottom arm, but it looks like Zekeriah's getting it free. He's got a jaw crush.
Yeah, Ryan's trying to hold on, but he's down in points.
Yeah, he's down quite a bit. I guess it's a little bit different Nogi. It was 2 points for each. It's still a close match. Zekeriah still needs to get to that finish. No points off the finish, but if it's another sweep for Zekeriah, that's 2 more points.
Yeah, Ryan Stock he's just been getting fits. Zekeriah Jones gave Ryan Stock fits tonight.
I mean, if it goes round by round, that would be first round Stock, second round Zekeriah, but the points.
We talk about the points. I think Zekeriah Jones was racking those up that round.
Yeah.
We're going to make this one official. Bring it to our arena announcer.
I think it's 8-6. We'll see.
All right, and your winner by points by decision out of the blue corner,